Hi, welcome back to Watch Me. I'm your host, Emily Galindo, and we are here proving ourselves and others wrong, one success story at a time. And our guest today is literally, that is the whole thing that she does for a living, is proving you wrong, proving yourself wrong, and making you a lot of money while doing that. And so pay attention today, strap in, because she's going to bestow a lot of wisdom on us on how to exchange time, energy, and effort for high profits. And we love that we have Lani Jackson with Lani Jackson Coaching with us today. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, good. We start the show with the one question for every guest, which is if you can make an impact on one person right now, what's the message that you want them to hear?
That you can make huge impact in your business with just simple action that's repeatable and sustainable.
Okay. And the fact of it being, what is it about that scares people the most or can't implement the most? What is it?
They think they have to be consistent and they think they have to do it all. I think that's the big thing with our business world, like with the social media and just so much content being pushed at us and so many people telling us, hey, here's how I grew my business, here's what I did. And then we try to adopt everyone's strategies and then we try to be consistent. And consistency is great, but it's really hard when you're balancing a lot of things or when you're just starting out. And so they get defeated really fast and they get frustrated and like, why is it not working for me when it works for everybody else?
Mm-hmm. And so you think it's just taking on too much. So like it's kind of like dieting, right? Like just change one thing about it and then another one thing until you get good at that one thing.
Yes.
Is that your approach?
Yes. I think it's like they try to do spaghetti at the wall and do spaghetti at the wall again and do it again and again. And spaghetti at the wall is how we start, that kind of feeling of like, I'm going to just try a bunch of things. But if you can't track the data and you can't repeat the action, it's going to be really hard to see the growth that you want.
Okay, so where do we start then?
So it's starting strategically and looking at like what is the right kind of strategy for me? What is the right thing that I want to do with my time? So I like to ask immediately when I'm working with a new business owner or somebody who's coming into my world, how much time are you wanting to spend in your business? Because that's going to impact the kind of strategy that we use.
Well, I think that we all just think that we have to do 80 hours.
Yes.
Otherwise, how's it all going to get done?
Yes, exactly. Because there's always something else we can do.
Sure.
That's the problem with being an entrepreneur, right?
So what if I'm working 80 hours and I only want to be working 40 hours?
So then we could really go back and look at the data and say, what is it of those 80 hours that is making the true impact? Because I find a lot of people are actually doing things because they've always done them or somebody else told them to, and it's really not changing or making that big of an impact in their growth and in their profit margins. In fact, a lot of times I've seen people who are doing these repeated things and it's causing them to lose business because it's such a distraction or a time consumption, and it really isn't making that big of a difference in their business.
And is it just that a third party can actually see that for them to go, hi, we don't need to do this anymore?
Yeah, it could be the third party. That's what I love doing, of course. Yeah. But also I think it comes from self-evaluation. I lovingly call it an expansion audit that I do for myself and for my clients every year at multiple times, where we sit down and we say, what is working? What should I start? What should I stop? What should I improve? What should I scale? What should I bring systems into? And if we don't take that time to really make that evaluation and say, how do I want to expand? We're going to end up being really contracted around the growth of our companies.
Okay. And so how do we get from, because you said one thing that I was like, immediately I went, which is you have to take the time to sit down and do the audit, and ask the questions and be self-reflective and look at the systems and but I don't have the time to do that. Like the world's on fire and we have spaghetti to cook, right? Like I have all of these things. So how do what does it take to get somebody to get to that place to go, okay, I've got to figure something out?
I think one, you want to do it before it's a crash and burn situation or when you're ready to burn your whole business down. I end up with clients who are coming to me and like, I'm ready to burn it all down because none of it's working. I'm done.
Right.
And that's when we sit down and to say, okay, let's look at everything you're doing. What is the thing that you should keep doing? What should you stop doing? Those kinds of questions. But really, it's being intentional, and you have to make the time. And that's part of being a CEO is you say, this is important for the growth of my company, because if we're so busy working in the business, we can never work on the business to grow it to where you want to with your vision. And that's where we often end up in big plateaus because we just get stuck into this loop of, I got to do. But then you're not taking the time to evaluate and say, this is what is actually growing my company and here's how I can scale it.
Do you feel like more of your clients are burnt out, ready to burn it all to the ground, and have been in business and have tried and are just like over it? Or do you feel like it's more of still inspired, but and they're just not making any money, right? Like we're trying everything we can, and I think I'm doing a good job, and I want to make an impact or sell my thing, and I just can't seem to find get over the hump of like finding success?
I think it's probably an even split. Okay. I get people coming to me with both sides of that coin. I love getting the people who come to me and say, like, I'm maxed out on my time and I am maxed out on my client load. I literally cannot take any more people because I'm working all these hours and I don't know how to do it on my own anymore, but I know I'm still capable of getting more business and I want to increase my profits. So what do I do? And those are like really fun clients to come in. I had one in particular come in. She's a copywriter. She maxed out all of her time. She was amazing at what she does, but she literally could not scale any bigger than her company was at that moment. So we had to build in a system of how to scale and make her work less. So she, instead of working 7 days a week, we got her down to 5. We hired subcontractors and built out her profit margins to make sense so that she could be making money while someone else was doing the work. And what piece of the puzzle did she need to keep in order to stay high level and stay that integrity that was really important to her, but also be able to scale. So now she has a team of 6.
Wow.
She works 5 days a week and she's quadrupled her income.
Holy smokes.
So it's like, that's what's possible when you can stop and say, okay, I'm maxed out. I can either accept that this is as much money as I can make, or I have to raise my rates.
Right.
And she didn't want to do that because she was really at industry standard, but we could play around with how she was delivering the product, how she was involved in the process, how she was marketing, how she was serving, and all of that was what we looked at. And then on the flip side, we have those clients that come in and they're just like, I'm ready to burn it all to the ground, nothing works, or I'm just burnt out, is to go back to the mission in their heart, in the fulfillment side of like, why did you even start this in the first place? And if we are like, a lot of my clients are heart-driven and heart-centered businesses, if we can get back to that and take away all these extra things that have been kind of, I call it should on you.
Yeah.
You should do this, you should do that. And then
you've
adopted all these strategies that you really don't want to do in the first place, or it really is draining or exhausting, or maybe even a package or way you're serving that you just don't want to do. For instance, I had a client who's like, I don't like doing one-on-one. It's exhausting. I'm like, why are you doing it then? She's like, well, somebody told me that's the way you have to grow your business. I'm like, no, it's not the only way. So she had all these one-on-ones that were just literally sucking her soul dry.
Right.
And so we had to just find the realignment with fulfillment and what she really, truly wanted to do and how she wanted to serve. And she was relit up and her business exploded again.
Nice. I was going to say, like, I think that's the telltale if, like, because I know that there's things in my own business that I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Like, I spend more time talking to myself about how I don't want to do this and how I should do this. And like I would have just knocked it out. It would have been done. But it's still not being done to the capacity that somebody who does love it or is better at it can get it done. And it gets done consistently and it's not draining you. You know what I mean? Like there are things, I think that's the telltale sign. Like if you're fighting with it.
Yes.
Just get rid of it.
Exactly.
Delegate it. Or do something.
You can change it up. Like there's always something to improve it. You can customize it. That's my favorite thing. That's what makes me different than most coaches is I'm all about how can we customize this to work for you instead of it adopting a strategy that worked for somebody else who isn't your personality, who isn't got your load of kids behind you, or your life situation, or your health, or your energy level, or your whatever it might be.
Right.
Let's customize it. You can take this concept, but bring it into like, how does this work for me? And actually, when you do that, you stand out more and you get more attention than trying to mimic someone else's strategy.
Yes. I had a friend on the podcast. This is about alignment, right? And your values and why are we doing this and it all feeds together because then you are talking to the right people and it all starts becoming attractive and whatnot. How did you find your way into this space?
Oh, well, I'm a mom of 6 kiddos. And
so you're already a CEO.
Yes, exactly. But I started business out when I first just had one kiddo. And it was really at the height, the beginning of like the blogging, influencer, make money online, web, all of that was just starting. And I got into that space and started working for some women who were really paving the way in the industry. And again, at that time, it was the wild, wild west. Everybody was like, you can make money from this. And so we were just trying everything. And so I really cut my teeth behind the scenes, helping these women come up with new ideas and execute them, be creative, think differently, think out of the box, because there was not very many people in that space.
What drew you to that? It was just a side gig that you could do for making
Right.
mom, or like, do you have a marketing passion? Do you have business
No,
passion? Like,
my degree is in elementary education, and I did my student teaching, and I never went into the classroom because I traveled with my husband, and then I started having babies. And I think what appealed to me about the time is I got into that space because I was reading other people's blogs, and I was like so lonely as a new mom and trying to find a way to like connect to people. So I started a blog myself, and a friend from college actually reached out, and she says, I just have seen your blog. I have a blog. Would you like to write for me? I'll pay you, I think it was $12.75 per recipe, an article that I would write for her, which was, at the time I felt really rich.
Yeah. Like, all I have to do is sit here and write this.
15 years ago. But that was able for me to, like, I could be at home. I had something that was creative, an outlet for me, and that's where it started. And the more I dove in deeper and saw the opportunities, I didn't know it at the time, but I was coaching them and strategizing for them, because I would come up with the idea, I would see an opportunity, I would make a plan on how we would do it, present it to them and say, what if we did this? And I was trying to give myself more hours, but at the same time, I made them a lot of money. And finally, I was like, all right, what if I put all this into action for my own business? And what if I charge the level of what these coaches out here are doing? And that's when also coaching and life coaching really were just taking off as well. Yeah. So it just was this perfect opportunity for me to step into where like my zone of genius really was, because I have built other businesses, but what I love doing and what lights me up and gets me so fired up is helping other people build their businesses and see opportunities. And that's something I'm really good at, and naturally, and now I can lean into it harder and build my skills.
Okay. All right. So you've been doing it for how long now?
So full-time since 2018.
Okay.
And that's just, it's just kind of taken on different versions of who I'm targeting, how I'm showing up for them as I've grown and leveled up. Now I work with women who are making their first $500 and working with couples in business and scaling to their multiple 8 figures. So there's a lot of a range in between. But one of the things I'm very passionate about is you should have somebody in your corner at every stage of business. And so how can we make support like this accessible? So instead of feeling like you're alone, wondering what's wrong with me, why am I not growing like this person over here seems to be on social media, you can have somebody in your corner helping you.
So yeah, tell me about having that access for people, because we've talked about that on a meeting before, but I love your different approach. And we had Caleb Christian on here earlier, and he talks about or I was on his podcast, I don't remember, 4 different stages of business, right? Like the startup, survival, success, and then significance.
Okay, I love that.
Right. So obviously the first 2 are pretty self-explanatory. Success is like, I finally have made it. And then once you kind of get to the place where it's all operating on its own, like, what can I do to make an impact and be significant? Philanthropy and all of that kind of thing. So those are the 4 stages. But anyways, but you do provide services for all 4 of those services, like all 4 of those stages.
Yes. Yeah. So we specifically designed a program for women entrepreneurs, women business owners called Empowered for More. I work with couples and men and women in business on one-on-one consulting, but I noticed a need for women to feel like they have, somebody's giving them the power that they do have, but how do you execute that? So we developed a program. I don't like calling it a group coaching program because I feel like group coaching has gotten a really bad rap. Yeah. And it's not a glorified course with some calls. Okay, let's just say that. Okay. But I really went through a lot of ideation on this program design because I was thinking about my own journey and how I went through, and I was like, I just want somebody to see me and help me know how this works for my business. Help me know what's not working, because I'm taking a lot of action. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm showing up. Or sometimes I'm just sitting there looking at this giant to-do list. What do I prioritize? If somebody was sitting next to me and saying, hey, I know you, I know what your goals are, I know what your vision is, I know how you've been showing up for yourself, let's look at this and support me along the way with every stage and make it accessible, that would be game changers. So that's what we built out of that vision, is a choose your level of support. So it's designed for those that are scaling to their first 6 and multi-six figure years. It's really designed for them to choose the level of support. So we start out
Is that revenue or income?
Income.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like that would be what our goal is that by the end of your time with us, you know how to get to those numbers, whether you've reached them or you have the clear path, because the timeline, again, are you committed or not?
Right.
And then
how bad do you want it?
Yes, exactly. And this isn't just a flash in the pan. And I think that's one of the things that's hurt us in the marketing space, is that people are like, do this in 30 days, or, just post this content. And
I don't think
be
it's your industry. I think that's our culture.
It is
right?
a culture
It's
thing.
the take this pill and lose 1 million pounds.
Exactly.
It's who we are as American people. Like
Yes.
instant gratification, please now, thank you.
Yes. And then when it doesn't happen, because what's not being disclosed to you is this is 10-year overnight success.
Right. And I think, right. And when we see that happen on social media for anybody in whatever industry, you're like, oh my gosh, they were nobody. Like, you don't see that they were struggling for 15 years and working their butts off and doing all, like, nobody sees that part.
Exactly. I just got an email this morning that said, you can get access to my funnel, my email funnel, and copy it. It made it made her $10,000 in 2 days. Get the exact funnel and use it for yourself. However, what she's not telling you is how many years it took her to build her email list.
Right.
And how many people are on it. Did she put ad money behind her offer? Like, there's so many things that she's not saying, but you can plug and play her email sequence to your list of 10. And maybe it will give you a little bit, but also her offer. And there's so many things that are being left out of the conversation when that advertisement is being made.
Right.
So how do we bring it to like accessibility now, to put all the pieces in place, not just the flashy instant, transformation, but also the daily choices and showing up for yourself, the mindset, the systems that you need. I know systems are not sexy, but they really are.
I know. So this is a thing that I've learned in the last 2 years that I've said this on here before, but my sister is a CrossFit athlete and has been a collegiate athlete as well, and the amount of discipline that she runs her life in, for me, is a little nauseating.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it's been a area of like a stressor or a trigger for me, or whatever you want to call it, but I'm just like, oh my God, lady, live a life. Like, it's fine if you miss a meal or whatever. But as I've gone through this journey in the last couple of years, I've learned that discipline is access to freedom.
Yes,
it's crazy. And there's a word, I'm trying to do a word switch on it because I don't like discipline, but like systems is not but if you do those things, then you get to have all the other things that you really want. And like, you have to have that. If you don't, it's just chaos and you're just doing life.
Exactly. And that's why I like the word sustainability, or like, I feel like if I could source sustainability within what I'm doing and where I want to go, I will be able to show up and continue to do. It's when we over pressurize ourselves or start to fit into something that is like, I'm not committed. I'm not truly committed to this.
Right.
I'm not really wanting to make the sacrifice. And I think that's something that along the way you see people really come to grips with, is especially if you're dealing with multiple things, multi-passionate women especially. I find this comes up a lot. And even the men, they're working in their business a bajillion hours. They left the 9 to 5 so that they could spend more time with their family. And then they end up not spending, they're super distracted. They're overwhelmed. They're burnt out. So they're trading off one for the other, and they're still not getting what they want. So you have to come down to the choices and what you're prioritizing and what you're choosing to find profits in. And that's another thing that I've shifted for myself, even because I'm a mom of 6 and I have kids with special needs. The way I showed up in my business when they were very young, I was not able to show up the way I wanted to necessarily, because I was committed to being a mom first.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but
you gotta accept it.
Exactly. And then also I saw the reflection in the way my profits were coming up for myself. So I had to choose to say, instead of being like, well, why didn't I get to 6 figures as fast as this other mom or entrepreneur who's in the same industry as me?
Right.
is to say, well, she made profits in cash really quickly, but I had profits in my family time and in my energy and how I was feeling about my children and my business.
This
And
is where I've gotten in life.
yes.
This is where I have come to life. Like,
yeah.
when my daughter was very young, I was in my first corporate job and I was killing it. I was number oneer. Like, it was all about the results and all the things. And then, personal stuff happened and I was just like, this is not important.
Right.
And even though now I'm an entrepreneur and I've got my own business and I still don't, I won't trade it. Like, I will do as much as I can and in line with my energy level for the business, and the rest of it is reserved for the important things in my life.
Exactly. And so you said to you made that decision, like what is a profit margin that is important to me? It's time with my family and availability and having cutoff hours and not working myself down to the bone, because this accolade really doesn't mean a lot to me.
Yeah, you know where those awards are? In my storage unit.
Exactly.
I don't give a shit about them.
Exactly.
But I won't, like, on Fridays, Fun Friday is for her. We go to the pool. We spend, that's it. Sorry, I don't work on Fridays.
Exactly. And how much is that a gift that you can give yourself permission? Because you absolutely could work on Friday if you were beating yourself up daily saying, well, I should have been here in my business. I should be making this much money. I should be doing this.
But at the end of the day, if I'm doing that, I'm sitting there going, I should be with my daughter right now.
Exactly.
Like, I'm shooting either way. And I'm like, I'd rather not regret this one over the other, right? Like, a mentor of mine back in the day used to say, because I would ask her, she was getting ready to go to Disney and she had all this stuff going on. And I'm like, you are a high level woman that have all of these things. I'm like, how do you manage the family and that? And she goes, here's the deal, Emily. There's no such thing as a networking emergency.
Yes.
Or a business emergency, unless it truly is. I mean, and that's a very small box to be like a business emergency. The rest of that shit can just wait.
Exactly. And a lot of us just haven't taken that time to say, what am I really caring about for? I love when I ask new clients coming in or new leads coming in, I say, what's your income goals? And I hear 10K and 100K, and those are just those are the buzzwords. I'm like, all right, you're not allowed to say 10K and you're not allowed to say 100K. What are your business goals financially? And I wanted a number that you choose, not the one that is like, oh, well, if I have 10K months or 100K months, whatever it might be, like, what is it that matters to you? Do you know that number, or have you adopted the mainstream media number that is out there? And really saying, like, what does that look like for me? If I make, whether it's like 4K, that was a number for me when I was first getting started. I just wanted to make $4,000 a month because I knew what that would do for me and my family. And that number was attainable. And then that changed. Okay, now I want this number. Now, but don't just adopt a number because that makes you feel like, oh, then that makes me successful. No,
right. You intentionally need to actually calculate how is this going to impact your family at this number, and because then you have something emotionally attached to
exactly
the goal of wanting to hit $4,000.
Exactly.
Because then I can take my kid to Disney World or whatever the thing is.
That was one of my big goals. Is I had on a vision board, I was going to pay for our family to go to Disney World for not just 1 or 2 days, but like a whole week.
Yeah.
And my business paid for it, and that was a huge accomplishment for me. In belief, and then seeing it come true is saying like, oh, look what we did. And this was part of that magic feeling of you like, okay, we're doing something big here, and I can see the impact.
Do you do reward planning in your coaching?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I do this, I get to reward myself.
Absolutely. I think you should celebrate as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because I find us as entrepreneurs and business owners, when we get the thing we want, we're like, okay, great. Now what am I doing next?
Yeah.
And move on just immediately.
We do the work hard, but forget to do the play hard thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I like to reference back to, what are you wanting to have right now in your income, and how are you going to celebrate that in your time, your energy, and fulfillment? What would that mean for you? Can we paint a picture of that? Because that also helps with motivation and commitment along the way as well.
Every time I talk to you, I'm like, I need to hire Lani Jackson.
Okay. I would love to work with you.
I can only imagine. I'm going to talk to Rick about that because I'm serious, because it's only going to benefit the two of us and everybody else. But I see that. Like, it's just the way that you talk about it in terms of a holistic, my whole life, right? Like, and I've talked about this from the front of the room all the time, that we don't live and operate our businesses in silos. Like, when my life was falling apart, believe it or not, so was my business. I mean, it wasn't doing the best it could have been doing, obviously. Like, it impacts everything.
Yes.
And if you're not doing it so that you can spend more time, energy, and get fulfillment out of being with your family or your friends or whatever your thing is, then why are we doing? Like, nobody goes to work to grind it out just to grind it out, to get a paycheck and then die with all this money.
No, exactly. And that's a big part for me is I want to enjoy the journey. I want to be happy when I'm making $400, which is how I started out in my business. I was making $400 a month, and I thought I was like, this is the life, right? And I was happy when I made $4,000 a month. I want to be happy and accepting and proud every stage, not when I reach 10K months or 100K months or whatever that buzzword is, right? So how can we find joy and fulfillment and profitability in your time, your energy, and income and fulfillment along the way? Because I meet a lot of business people who are, hey, I'm bringing in money, cash is coming in, but they're in a total deficit in their time, a total deficit in their energy, and their fulfillment in the trash,
right?
Because they don't have time to be fulfilled because they're so busy chasing the next dollar.
Yeah.
So I find that bringing in this holistic look, like you just said, the WHOL, is like, what does this whole picture life look like for me? Because at the end of the day, the money is not what really is fulfilling us. It's the impact. It's the time with our people. It's being able to give back. It's so much more than that.
Right. And and it's just the way that when you talk about the third person, because coaching has gotten a bad rap, if you will, over the years. And I don't like using coaching either. And so we'll figure out a new way to coin
I've been
industry.
calling myself a business strategist, and I do call myself a mindset coach, but I've also used the word clarity in helping bring out like the clarity consulting, where we're getting clear on your vision and the actions you're doing to get there. Because that's a lot of time where it gets cloudy and muddy and like, what am I doing here?
Right. I mean, but I've been seeing this meme lately that's like, hey, or call your mom because you call your mom or your parent because you need a superior adult. Like that's kind of how I view you, not as a mom, because you are a mom, but like a superior adult. If somebody would just tell me what to do, I would love that. Yeah. And I think a lot of us feel that way, that I'm tired of being the one that makes all the damn decisions of being adult. I would like, if I could just have somebody that I could go, Lani, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, this is what you said you wanted, and so here's your decision. Yeah. Okay, great. I'll go do that.
Yes. And I call it reflective coaching is my style, where I don't bring any of my agenda. A lot of coaches will come in and say, here's what worked for me. Here's what I do. Here's what you should do based off of what I have done for success. I don't like that because I've been coached that way, and it doesn't work for me. I've got different time, different energy, all those things. So how can I reflect back to you what you've told me is your vision? Reflect back to you what you said you don't want to do and don't want to live like. Keep you aligned with those targeted profit margins in your energy, in your time. I just this last weekend told somebody that they should not be starting a podcast right now because that doesn't work for their time. And if they started it, it's a great idea. They should not do. Like, that's really what we sometimes need. Yeah. Yes, that's a great idea. Don't do it right now.
Right. Shiny object syndrome.
Yes,
like, let's stay focused and be successful here.
Exactly.
I would love to continue to do this. I mean, I'm going to have to eventually pay you to do this with you more often.
Yes.
You guys come work with Lani. She's amazing. Just her energy and the way that she talks, it just feels very, I don't know, safe.
Thank you.
That's the word I'm going to go with. Safe.
I like that.
Yes. So her contact information is in our show notes. Get some clarity because it sucks out here by ourselves and not having any clarity about what it is we're doing. And so have somebody in your corner with you and call Lani and she will get you taken care of.
I love that.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. See you guys next week.